Welcome to Coffee Meets Cloud, where three women in tech come together to share real stories about leadership, life, and everything in between. Join our hosts, Karami McCollum.
Oh, I love the voice note feature, y'all.
Cassandra Parker.
I'm hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit.
And Rachel Rogers.
We have the power to change it.
Your go-to source for candid conversations and unfiltered insights. So, grab your coffee, pull up a chair, and join the chaos.
Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Meets Cloud. Happy Tuesday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're tuning in. We're glad you're here. We're here. We were almost not here. We've been having some technical
difficulties
this morning, but we rallied. We made it. Some of us may have forgotten that we were even recording, but that's real life. How are y'all doing?
Some of us point in that direction.
You know what's crazy though?
I guess Rachel's on my far left.
Yeah, that doesn't really work. I totally forgot. Yeah. It's okay. I was like, oh my gosh, I have all this time. How did this happen? And then it was like, oh yeah.
That's why. Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. But you know what? I'm going to have all this time tomorrow because I thought we were doing this tomorrow. So
yeah.
You just switched one day for the next.
It's fine. It's fine. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Well, you remember how last time I saw you guys, I was like, y'all, the allergies has got me. It's not the allergies. It's the whole flu. So as of last night, it has hit everybody. Rowan brought it home from school. In retrospect, I now know he brought it home from school, gave it to me. Jessica started her symptoms like 3 or 4 days ago, and now the little one. But at least when we get to the other side of this, maybe you've
all had it and you're good.
They did have their flu shot, which I mean, who knows if it has done anything? Probably not. I can't tell that it's done anything.
It's been the least effective flu shot, they said.
Now, I will say, although this is very, like, having the flu is very frustrating, I've had worse flus. So I'm thankful for that. Like, I had the flu one time where I was out. It was like COVID type symptoms. It was so bad. This has been, exhausting, and the cough and everything's hard. It's very uncomfortable, but it's been tolerable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I am, I do want to just say I'm thankful for that. So send us good vibes. I'm just glad it came before Easter because we're doing the glow in the dark Easter egg hunt Friday night.
So everybody will be fine by then. That's great. You'll all be feeling good for Easter.
We have a family reunion type thing on Saturday, and I'm like, gosh, at least she's getting it done and over with now. If we get her on the Tamiflu, we can get that thing to end early, maybe. So, yeah. What about you?
Or you're going to be giving a whole different gift to your family for Easter.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like,
in everyone's Easter basket, we now have Flu B. Congratulations.
We've given you Tamiflu in advance.
Well, we were so disappointed because last weekend we were supposed to go to my father-in-law's for his birthday. And the only reason we discovered that we have the flu is because Jessica went to urgent care because she has asthma. So every time she gets sick, it goes straight to her chest. And when she started, I was like, you just need to go ahead and go, have them listen, get you on a steroid and an antibiotic before it turns into pneumonia. Yeah. And they swab her, and sure enough, she's got the flu. And that was that morning. So then we had to call her dad and be like, we can't go. So, but we're alive. We're healthy-ish. There's still a lot to be thankful for. I will be positive.
You say it enough
to be thankful for. Always.
There's a lot to be thankful for. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
sounds
Rachel,
like
don't leave me hanging.
All had adventures this weekend.
Rachel's dying to tell me what she did this weekend. She wouldn't tell me before the recording, so we're all going to find out at the same time.
Well, I already know, but you don't.
It's on her nose because
me and the listeners.
Yeah,
that's right.
All at once. All right. So the Freedom 250 plane was here, right? It's a limited exhibit. You get to see actual founding documents. They're not replicas. They hardly ever leave the vaults. So they're here in Atlanta. So the day that was coming, I went and I got tickets. They were free, but you had to get tickets, right? So we go down to the Atlanta History Museum and we take my husband's truck because my husband likes to drive my husband's truck. And that's fine, right? We all like a nice, comfy ride. It's a Ford F-250, right? And so in Atlanta, Houston Museum, you park in a parking garage. And we pull into the parking garage and it, you hear a little noise, but it's okay. We made it. We park. We go inside the museum. We do the tour. It was great. We were little people that were a little pushy. We met some cool people. We're going to leave because we're like, hey, we're going to go get brunch because we got there early because we had been told there would be lines. Like when this tour hit Kansas City, it was 4 hours to wait in line before you waited the 45 minutes to get into the exhibit. So it was like, okay, we got to get there early. So we got there at like 8:30, right? No problem. We go to leave the museum and we're like, okay, we're just going to take it slow. Famous last words, right?
My spidey senses are tingling right now.
We go down in the second concrete bolster that's up at the top. We get stuck, like truck wedged in the parking garage, cannot move forward, physically stuck. So we're like, okay, we're going to try to back up.
Because how did it get in if it couldn't get out?
Well, there's a whole thing. So we're like, okay, we're going to try to back up because then we don't at least stop the flow of traffic if we can back up a little bit. So we back up a little bit, able to get back in a parking spot. Great. Everybody can go around us. Not a big deal. I'm like, hey, we have AAA. It's going to be fine. I'll just call AAA, right?
What the heck is AAA going to do, Rachel? Disassemble your car and take it
Here's
out?
the thing. Here's the thing, right?
Architect?
Oh,
They're supposed to be emergency assistance. This is an emergency, okay?
Yeah.
I call them. They laugh. And they're like, we can't help you because you don't need a tow, right?
Well, okay. So
you don't need a tow, right? And technically it's not a winch because you're not like, I don't know how they classify a winch. Right. You're stuck between two things. You're stuck between the ground and the ceiling of the parking garage. So I'm like, screw you guys. I'm going to call my insurance company. Insurance has to have a way, right? Pay all this money. You want to take advantage of it. Call the insurance company. They're like, no worries. We got you. 4 different companies they call to try and get us help. Nobody can help. So my husband's like, okay, fine. We're letting the air out of the tires. That's going to be the way to get this thing out. Because
that's smart. Now I'm a shout out Jamie because I don't think I would have thought of that.
We can drop the height, right?
Sure. And you probably don't need that much.
No, to be clear, this parking garage said it was 6'10". His truck is 6'9" and a quarter. So 6'10", we would have had plenty of cover. We would have had still coverage, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, okay. So he drops the air in the tires. Try again. Get stuck. No dice. So we're like, okay, well, this is not great, right? By this time, our friends JD and Ann had come back, and JD's like, no, we got to let like a lot of air out of these tires.
And just go real slow.
We got down to 5 PSI in the tires with us and several people sitting in the truck bed to drop the rear end of the truck in order to get it out. And then the museum person or somebody that was there had a air pressure thing that got each tire back up to 20 PSI. So then we could take it to the tire place to actually get the tires reinflated. Now, to be clear, this was one of the concrete things in the ceiling, just one of them that was completely out of line. Like Jamie went and walked up to it. His hand, like up to his wrist, is where he was touching this thing. And Jamie's 5'10", maybe. I don't know. He's not that tall, right? So there's no way this was 6'10". Like there's this one that is thing. So the entire roof of the truck is scratched to high hell, including the sunroof of the truck, all the glass. And miraculously, it all still works. And everything is the way it is. But my daughter in this episode had a complete panic and meltdown, which did not help things, right? Because she's not used to being in stressful situations, right? Like that's not anything she's ever experienced. Look, I've never experienced getting a vehicle stuck in a parking garage, okay?
I haven't. And I can only imagine how I would freak out.
Like, right. And then you're getting everybody telling you they can't help you. Right.
Yeah, it's like you're going through your list of people to help and they're like, nope, sorry, nope. Yeah. And also she's hungry. And
She's
when
hungry.
teenagers get hungry, they do not handle it well.
She's hangry. She is one of those Snicker commercials to the T, right? My favorite one of those Snickers commercials was when Betty White did it, but that is 100% what Kinley was looking like that day.
Wow.
I need to keep some Snickers in the truck just in case of emergency.
Right after that, it was margarita time, because by the time we got out, it was margarita time. It was no longer brunch time.
It would have taken so long for my blood pressure and my cortisol levels to go down after that. My luck, I would have been on my own when that happened to me. The number of things that have happened to me when I was on my own to figure it out. By myself. Because I'm one of those people, like, if I'm with people, I don't stress about it. It's like a safety in numbers kind of thing. I'm like surely, even if none of us can figure it out, we're all in this boat together. We're suffering together. That somehow makes me feel better. But it always happens to me when I'm alone. And I don't know what I thought you were going to tell me happened this weekend, but that was not it. And
there you go.
No. So not on the bingo card.
Are they liable then for the damage, since the thing wasn't as high as they said the clearance was? I mean, it seems like they would be.
It's completely misrepresented, right? And again, we got in fine, and we couldn't get out, right, because of the one, and it's because of the angles, right, and the height of how everything ends up working out. But yeah, trust me, we will be following up on that.
Well, it's like when we went to the World Tour in Atlanta, Caramy and I parked in some little Bodunk garage that felt like it was from the 50s. And I mean, both of us drive larger vehicles. Caramy's is bigger than mine, but like the whole time I was driving through, and I was like, it feels very close.
That's the thing. Those parking garages are not built for modern vehicles.
No, they aren't. And our new parking deck at our new office, when you go the incorrect way, which we all know I did the first time, leaving, it scrubbed my luggage rack. The very last little, like literally not leaving, but before you turn and you're coming out, it scrubbed. Now, luckily for me, that's just a luggage rack. It's not the paint of the car. But yeah, every time I go in one, I'm like, because
isn't it funny how we all duck, but ducking doesn't help? Yeah, everybody ducks.
I'm gonna think small, car. Think small.
Well, Cassandra, how did the birthday go this last weekend?
It was good. It was really good. We went to the arcade and he played and all the things, and he had a blast. So that's all that matters. But we were busy all weekend because I had to paint faces at a bunny brunch on Saturday morning for a fundraiser, which turned out really cute. That was cute. And then we had our Easter egg hunt at our church, which we filled up 7,200 balloons and hid the eggs underneath the balloons in the gym, like filled the entire gym with balloons, which was unbelievable. The kids absolutely loved it. So that was fun. That was a lot of work.
Friday we went to that paddle battle, Atlanta.
We did.
Okay. We can't spend too long on this because we do have to get into the topic segment of the show. But for those who don't know, and we didn't post it on socials, I guess we probably should.
We should.
We bought fan passes to go to paddle battle.
The key word is fan passes.
Yes,
we were going as fans.
We wanted to support we wanted to support women in technology.
Right.
It was hosted by Tier 4, and y'all know we love Betsy. We had to support our girl Betsy. So we were just donating our money and our time to be there and network. But then some things happened, and Cassandra had to compete in paddle battle.
Yeah.
Cassandra chose to compete.
I did choose to, but I mean, I felt bad because there weren't other people. It's not like there were a bunch of people who were already planning on going, right? And the person that was supposed to play, she had an emergency and just couldn't do it. So it's like, okay, I played tennis in high school years ago. I used to play in tennis, I played on some leagues. It's fine. It's tennis adjacent.
In fairness, all right. Listen, shout out Cassandra, because in fairness to her, they asked me, and I was like, "No, sir." They will embarrass all of us if I try to do it. No.
Well, I mean, I was out in my yard at night practicing, just hitting the ball with a paddle, just trying to get the feel of it. And I was like, "Well, this is different," but and I'm watching videos online, which I think we did pretty good. Like for us to even score some points, like we lost our match, but for us to even score some points, I feel like we did well. What the bad part about the whole entire thing is, in true Cassandra Superklutz fashion, I forget that I'm no longer in my 20s. And I went to run for a ball to hit this shot, and I kept running, and I ran into a fence, which doesn't sound too bad, except for I drilled my knee on the post. It's like it dead centered the post. So I'm limping. I'm not feeling great. It's actually hurting worse today. So I've made an orthopedic appointment to go and get my knee looked at. So yeah, my husband's like, I don't know why you do this. You always
No
hurt
good
yourself.
deed.
And I'm like,
No good
Well,
deed.
what Cassandra discovered is you are, in fact, not as young as you feel.
correct.
Yes.
I mean,
We-
you
remember last episode when we said you had your 20-year high school reunion?
Yeah, exactly. You can feel, it's like my grandma used to say, in my mind, I feel 16, but oh, my body.
you think you could do these things, Nemo, but you
But you just can't.
But you just can't.
No, he asked me multiple occasions to do it, and then finally when we were at the event, because I made my wife come too, she was like, you need to understand that Caramy tried to do co-ed softball one year, and this is the same chick who swung at the ball and turned completely around a 360. Y'all, it was so bad. I did good as the catcher and as the team cheerleader. I was celebrating everybody. I was
Play to your
boosting
strengths,
them
babe.
up.
Play to your
Exactly.
strengths.
I'm
Yeah.
here for
I didn't
you.
realize Caramy's over on the side with the phone, and I'm like, she's recording this entire match. All this glory is going to be out there for the world to see. Oh no, she'd started the Slack huddle with our team, so everyone's online watching me epically fail.
It was like a live stream, you know. I wanted
Yeah.
them to be able to
Oh my
participate
gosh.
live time to see the results. But at least there's no proof
I'm
of
surprised
this event.
That's right.
Caramy's
Right.
still alive.
It's
Like-
fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, you did so good. And I was like, thanks. I appreciate you. I saw a lady
Oh.
walking in with a cast on her leg. And Brent was like, maybe you're playing her. I said, I believe I could beat her.
I hope we are playing her.
No, I was wanting to.
Well,
When I pulled up on the back of the SUV in front of me, there were all these like pickleball stickers, and it was like Dink Life. And I said, I hope I'm not playing this person, 'cause they are serious about this.
Speaking of, okay, so I saw where some people posted on LinkedIn too about the event, and they said something like we dinked and whatever, and I had never heard of that phrase. When I hear dink, have y'all heard this?
Yeah.
On social media, that's also what they refer to as dual income, no kids.
No kids. Yeah.
okay, yeah, I've heard that.
Adults that are, so like when I hear dink, I'm like, what? Dink?
Yeah.
Weird.
But it's a different shot that you can hit it's like a very effective shot in pickleball that you can hit from behind the line, the kitchen line. So you can like dink it over the net, and then it's effective shot. So
Cassandra has learned a lot of
Well,
things about
look,
pickleball.
I watched a lot of YouTube. Okay. I may not be
Look,
great at it, but I watched a lot of videos.
I was telling Kinley what you were doing because it was the paddle battle, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, Cassandra's just out there playing paddle ball. It'll be fine. And she was like, paddle ball? What's that? And I was like, it's like tennis, but not. And she's
but with
like,
a wiffle
oh,
ball.
you mean pickleball? I was like,
But apparently there's a new version of this stuff called paddle ball, and it's kind of like racquetball, but I don't know. I was hearing all about this at dinner last night, and I'm like, I'm not playing that. Like, count me out. Next time
I do
someone
wanna hear
says you want
about-
to play,
it's time to hang up your paddles.
correct. Hang them up. Done. I'll be
Yeah.
supporting you from the sideline, drink in hand, which
There
was
you
the
go.
original plan.
Yeah, that was a great place to be, by the way. Just sipping mimosas and watching y'all all run around. I would have looked like an octopus running up and down that court. So many arms. It would have looked like so many arms and legs trying to just
flailing.
I don't think octopuses run. Or octopi.
But that's the point,
Octopi.
right? Like, imagine how crazy that would look.
Flopping
That would be me.
and like,
Yeah.
oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be me. All right. Well, here we go. Hard left into today's topic. Have y'all heard, speaking of TikTok, because, you know, your girl's on TikTok all the time. I can't help myself. Have y'all heard of the term soft life trend?
No.
No.
Okay. So, how do I explain this? It's basically like, okay, so you guys know we've talked a lot about like creating your boundaries, holding your boundaries, work-life balance, how important it is. We all agree, right? Keeping it low stress, all those things. The soft life trend, if I'm representing this correctly, is basically the branding that they're putting on that existence, but it's the branding around sort of taking that to the extreme. Like, it basically has become like when you brand something, it suddenly gives it an excuse to do any amount of it. So, like, completely avoiding stressful situations, like, period. So,
How does
why
one
the
do
face?
that?
I know that. I'm
exactly?
like, they
How
just
do you
live in the woods.
completely avoid stressful situations? Do you just
No
stay at home?
humans.
No
Yeah.
people?
Yeah. I mean, like when you start to experience friction in any
just walk away?
situation, yeah, whether it's the job you chose, whether it's your interpersonal relationships, because we've talked about that one too, how these I don't want to say these newer generations, because I don't like to lump everybody into a group. It's not everybody, but how we feel like we're seeing this rise in people just going no contact or cutting people out because they don't want any amount of friction or any amount of
Right.
disagreement. So that's another example of soft life. And the branding is like doing it in the name of protecting your peace, doing it in the name of prioritizing your health and your mental health.
So these
Right?
people get paid to basically avoid everybody. So they've created a brand so they can make money off of it.
No.
They're not making money.
No. This is just an existence.
It's what they're calling it.
That's what they're calling it. That's the way they're branding
Yeah,
this
but somebody's
existence.
making money if they're branding it and they've got
Well,
trends
I mean,
and everything else.
there's maybe content creators who are making money. But that's why I want to talk about it, because that is a very niche thing. Like, if you've managed to be a content creator who makes it seem like that's a sustainable life and you can have an income living that way,
Correct.
yes. Okay. So what I want to break down in a real way, not like the TikTok-y way, is how this actually shows up like in a workplace. Because I think this is what we're seeing, not in our literal teams, because we build great teams. But I hear a lot of other leaders talk about this on social media and the types of personalities they're trying to lead and manage in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Not all teams are created equal.
Right.
Some folks are really going through it with trying to manage their teams. And so you have this up and coming wave, let's call it, of people who have been lied to. Like, they're being told you should be able to have a career and do your job, but also prioritize your peace and your no stress above all else. And what I want to talk about is, where can you actually strike that balance? Because we all value work-life balance and we all value protecting your peace, but where is that realistic line between that and this soft life trend? Because you still have to show up.
Right. You have to show up. And I mean, let me be frank. If someone on my team came to me and it's like, hey, I have a really awkward situation with a coworker, my first question is going to be, did you talk to him? Well, if they come back to me and say, well, no, because I'm protecting my peace and that's a stressful situation and I live this soft life, I'm going to say, then you need to find another job, because I'm not going to go babysit your issue that you have with Joe because Joe hurt your feelings because whatever happened. Right. So there may be situations where you can do that and walk away and say, hey, this is too stressful. But at work, I just don't see how that's ever an option. Like, you're going to encounter stress. I do it every single day, and you have to learn to manage it.
This is the thing. This is why we should have never done participation trophies. Right? Like,
Yeah.
this goes back to how kids are growing up these days. First of all, there's no such thing as balance. Throw that notion out of your head. If you are trying to strike a balance, it is an impossible task because something always suffers, right?
That's
Yep.
right.
It's about integration. It's about choosing what you do when you do it and being all in on whatever that thing is, right? That is where you need to be. I think conflict exists in life no matter where you go. You could go to the grocery store and somebody could cut you off, right? And that's a choice. You can either engage, you can disengage, but you're surely not going to not go to the grocery store because somebody cut you off, right?
Right.
So I think I personally think this is some content creators trying to sell a load
Well,
of
I'll play
things.
devil's advocate a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because I want to be fair. I don't think it necessarily came out of nowhere. I think this is a reaction to burnout culture. Because for years, the message has been do more, say yes to everything, grind now, you can rest later, right? And everybody's exhausted. So, this soft life trend, it feels like healing. It feels like the balance everybody's been missing. It feels like, okay, I'm getting my power back. I'm reclaiming my power. And it uses, the language is good because they're using words like boundaries, alignment, protect your energy, protect your peace.
All in how
Which
you
again,
brand it.
which again is important things, but just because the words sound right doesn't mean that the way you're applying it or expecting it to show up is, like I said, realistic. So I don't know.
Look, nothing in life is free. And it's the whole notion too. One of the things that, comes up recently, I was talking to another mom and she was saying how her daughter was getting in trouble at school because another kid was taking issue with what her daughter was talking about. Instead of that kid leaving, to your point, protect their peace, right? They could have walked away from the situation. Her daughter was getting in trouble because her daughter should respect the fact that that other person didn't want to talk about that, right? And it's that notion of, right, like at what point does your inner peace interfere with my inner peace, right? And there's going to be some conflict. And inherently, there are too many personalities in this world, which is what makes this world great, right? That's why
Right.
we were all made to be different. It's why we propel each other forward. It's what
Yep.
you do in those moments and how you handle them. And not everything has to be a fight. You can have conflict and it not be a fight. You can sit
Yes.
down, have a conversation, express viewpoints, and still walk away and say, respectfully, I disagree. And that's okay. But getting to that respectful point, we used to have, such as a society, a better way of doing that. And today we've become so polarized that a lot of people have only grown up with the notion of fight, right?
Yep.
That they don't know another way to handle conflict. So I really challenge you, if you were one of those people struggling with how to navigate conflict, there are some great conflict resolution courses out there on LinkedIn. You can Google find some. Maybe we can even tag some on our website or in this episode for people. But conflict does not mean arguments. It does not mean fights. It's an opportunity to have a conversation. Start with a reframe in your mind. Don't just walk away, because then you're going to miss so many great opportunities in your life because you just walked away.
Well, and that's another thing I wanted to say, right? Growth is usually what comes from pressure.
Yes, exactly.
So
That's what I was going to say.
when you remove the friction entirely, you're not just removing the stress. You are potentially removing skill development, to your
How do
point,
you
Rachel.
learn?
Conflict resolution, how to manage different personality types. You could also be removing visibility from yourself, like visibility into what you're capable of, visibility into what it is how you can show up for people, what you can do. And then just opportunities, right? Because you're losing the visibility, because you're just avoiding everything, you're losing or could be losing out on a lot of opportunities. And when you think about that in your career or in a workplace, that's not punishment. That's not punishment because you're not sacrificing anything and everything for your job. That's just how organizations work.
Right.
It's not personal. That's just how they work. So again, health a healthy dose of
Yeah.
showing up while protecting your peace is the key
Right.
part here.
Right. You don't have to. If someone comes at you, if you have a sit down conversation with someone, you're like, hey, these are issues that we're having. Let's work this out. Let's be adults about it. And they come at you in a very aggressive way. Okay. Well, now you've learned from that particular thing that they did not receive that well or whatever. And you can handle that in a different way. It's all in how you react to the situation. But you can't just say, I'm out and just walk away from every conflict. What are you going to ever learn
Right.
from that? That's crazy.
It's not, I think, balancing it too, right? We're not saying don't walk away from some conflicts. Some conflicts
Right.
you do need to leave the room, right? That is the
Absolutely.
best option for
Before
you.
someone goes to
You're
jail.
gonna have to have some
Exactly.
discernment, right?
Right. Right. You've
When
gotta
is
do
it
that.
habitual? When is the burnout habitual?
Mhm.
It's going polar either way. You can
Yeah.
say, I'm going to polar say, nope, I'm totally out of life and I'm just going to live in this little box where no one ever makes me upset and I'm just constantly happy, which does not real life and doesn't exist. If you go the other way and say, okay, everybody's out to get me and I need to confront every single person about every single thing. Well, A, you're going to be a hated human, but you're probably going to end up in jail because at some point it's going to escalate, right? So you got to have a balance of everything in life. It's a mix.
Yep.
Yeah. It is.
And
It's definitely a mix. And
excuse me.
make sure too that when you're having those conversations, challenge yourself to learn something. Right?
Yeah.
Challenge yourself to say, like, what could I have done differently? And not everything's always on you. Don't take it as like it's up to you to solve and fix. But sometimes you learn how to talk to people differently. Sometimes you learn situations that are never going to have a good outcome. It's always going to require help.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with needing help. That's why we have leadership structures. That's why there's typically more than one person at a company, right? To have a different perspective, have a different viewpoint, but challenge yourself to learn something and then take the time to self-reflect, right? Take the time away from the situation to recenter yourself and to really find that peace. Because if you're always avoiding conflict, to Karamie's point, organizations don't see you because somebody else is going to jump in, right?
It's just
And
like I said, it's not a
right.
punishment. It's
No,
just the reality.
it's again, there's more than one human, right? If you're
Yep.
the only
Right.
person, that's one thing. But when there's more than one human, other people are going to rise to the occasion. And it's not that they're more ambitious. It's just that they're willing to lean in areas where you're consistently retreating. And if that's what you want for your life, perfect, right? Maybe you've really found a job for you. But yeah.
Well, so now let's talk about it a little bit through the leadership lens, right? Like what it is to be a leader in these sorts of situations, because I think it creates a real tension on this side too. Like, how do you manage a team where some people are pushing for growth and other people are optimizing their situation for comfort? You have such a mixed bag. It's kind of like raising kids. You can't parent them all the same. You can't lead every adult the same in a team. But how do you tell the difference between someone or a couple of someone's who are just burned out versus somebody who's avoiding being challenged at all? Because in the way they show up, they can look very similar, right?
Yeah.
How do you identify the difference and then act accordingly?
Well, I think first it's an honest conversation with each
Yeah.
individual, right? And when you start a new team or you walk into a team or any of those situations, I always sit down and say, what do you want to do? Right? Because some people will
Right.
tell you, I don't want to do anything more than I'm doing right now. That is a great conversation to have. It's not career limiting. It's like you want to stay an individual contributor, you want to stay as a developer. Cool, I got you. Because you need those people, right? I went to a Colin Powell conversation one time at Dreamforce, and he was saying, like, you need the janitor, you need the secretaries, you need all of those positions. So just because that's what someone wants to do does not make them not ambitious in their career. It doesn't make them any different. It's just that's their passion and their calling, and that's what they want. So recognize that. I think then when you have highly confrontational people, you have to figure out what is the confrontation. Some people are trying to grow and they are trying to go up the ladder and think that's the right way. And you've got to coach those people back of like, hey, being too aggressive, having sharp elbows, doing those sorts of things, that's not a leader, right? Because leaders don't mean management positions. There are a lot of managers who are not leaders.
Correct.
So you've got to be careful with that. The other point is some people will never learn. And how do you get those people out of your team so that you don't create that toxic team?
Well, I think the ones that are more negative can be, I guess I should say, more negatively impactful aren't even necessarily the ones that don't want to move out of an individual contributor role, but the ones who don't want to grow their skill set in their current role. Because if you're trying to avoid stress and you're trying to avoid friction, learning new things at all can be incredibly frustrating. If you don't
Yeah.
have a personality where you just enjoy that challenge, or you don't have that next thing in mind, I think it can be hard to be motivated to wanna be uncomfortable,
Sure.
but the world is changing, and I'm thinking of it through our lens of managing teams and
Technology.
technology. Technology is moving so fast.
It is.
We are not in a world anymore where you can just rely on what you've learned up to this point. If you are not continuing to learn, you are gonna be left behind, and
Right.
you are not going to be able to meet the needs of your team
Well,
sooner
and
rather than
you're
later.
not going to have a job at some point. I
Exactly.
mean, especially in
Right.
technology,
Exactly.
if you aren't willing to learn new skills, you can pretty much forget about your job at some point. You're going to have to go and pivot and do something different because
Well,
the speed in which it moves, you're just going to get left
right.
behind.
Right.
Like we talk about AI, no, you're AI over it, but
I know.
AI is changing jobs. The jobs of developers will not exist in the same format in 2 years from now, 5 years from now. So if all you ever wanted to be was a developer, that skill set and pool is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And the incomes you're used to and the career paths you're used to, all of that is going to change drastically.
Mhm.
Same thing if you are an assistant, right? How that is being impacted and influenced. People don't need meeting notes anymore. They have AI for that, right? People don't need calendar scheduling anymore. There's AI tools that do that, right? So all of those things you have to look at differently. But I think when you're talking about an individual who's in their role, who's doing things to protect their peace and how you identify them, they're going to be really difficult because when you talk to them, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be great because the thing is they don't want to talk to you. They just
Right.
want to walk away. I think that's where you have to think about when you compare conversations with your teammates and you compare conversations you've had with one employee versus the other employee, how many employees are engaged and really talking to you and how many employees are trying to get out of the call. And
Mhm.
those
Yeah.
employees that are trying to get out of the call, those are the ones you double click on. Of
Yep.
is it driving because they're already on their way out and they're just burnt out, to your point, Jeremy, or are they avoiding conflict at all cost?
Right. I have this whole other thought, but I don't know that we have time to get into it, but in the vein of, the TikTok trends, this it's it's kinda parallel to this, but I see both of them happening a lot of times in the same conversation, and it's this concept of oversharing. So when you couple the 2, when you have this movement of it's very self-centric, like, I'm protecting my
Mm.
peace. I mean, we talked about that in another
All
episode, so
about
I'm not going down
me.
that road. Self-centric, not really village-minded, and let's be frank, I mean, an organization of any sort is just its own village to some degree. However dysfunctional it may
Mhm.
be, it is a
Mhm.
village, and
Mhm.
how you're showing up for it changes what that village looks like for you.
Mhm.
But you have this self-centric angle, you have this soft life angle, and you have this whole culture around everything. Sharing everything, every challenge, every frustration, every thought, everything. And it is impacting people's long-term careers. When it is on the internet, it is forever. It is forever. Do you really want that out there? Do you really want people to see you at your most frustrating moment? I mean, so imagine being somebody who avoids friction, but then also loses it on the internet when they are experiencing friction.
You're gonna be
Well,
known as
Stop
one of
it.
those. You're gonna be a meme.
I'm all for being authentic, y'all. Y'all know me. I don't have
Yeah.
very much of a
yeah.
filter. If I think it, 80% of the time it's coming out of my mouth,
Or your
whether I
face
meant
says
to or
it.
not, or my face says it. So I get it. But y'all, you got to take a beat and you got to think to yourself, am I going to feel the same about this tomorrow or next week? Or when I'm in an interview and they ask me about it, am I going to stand 10 toes down and defend
Is it worth
why that's out there?
Am I going to get fired? Right? Like there's a lot of companies firing people right now. There was a DoorDasher that went viral because of his political views and saying that if you ordered from him and he saw that you supported a particular political thing, that he was throwing your food out the window. DoorDash found him and fired him and said, you're not allowed to work for us anymore. Right? But in that person's mind, right, they're expressing their beliefs. They're expressing how they handle things, right? And the person got all upset that they were let go. And it's like, well, the internet is the internet, right? And everybody wants that viral moment until you get that viral moment. And then all of a sudden it negatively impacts your ability for your family. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. And just because you don't work in technology does not mean that technology will not bite you.
Right. I mean, take what happened with the the CEO and the chick that went to the Coldplay concert. I mean, we talked about.
You were gonna say the CEO of McDonald's who put out that video of him eating a McDonald's cheeseburger.
No.
All of the hamburger joints did that. It was
but everybody jumped on the poor McDonald's CEO because he looked so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They were like, that man hasn't eaten a McDonald's cheeseburger a day in his life until today.
Probably not.
That's hilarious. I will tell you, just for levity, this whole concept of you can read it on your face and going viral and the whole entire thing. So my friend Chris, shout out to Chris. He listens to the podcast every week. He's a big fan. He always tells his daughter, because she goes to UGA and she's very involved and she's like on the homecoming committee and all the things. So she gets tickets to every game and she's always down in the front. So he's like, anytime something negative happens, watch your face, fix your face. Don't be a meme. He's like, don't be a meme. Don't be that guy on TV that's like, yeah. So don't be a meme, people. That's your lesson for the week.
There you go. Well, that's a great way to end the podcast for today. Don't be a meme. So, Caramy, take us home.
Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. We were so glad you're here. If you loved the conversation, please be sure you're following the show. Give us a rating. It helps us with our outreach. You can follow us on socials at Coffee Meets Cloud or check out our website at coffeemeetscloud.com. We drop episodes every Tuesday, so we hope you'll be here next week. And until then, keep your coffee strong. See you ladies later.
Bye,
guys.
Bye.